to everyone, right? I hope everyone have gone through the doc. Yeah. So I hope everyone have gone through this doc, which I have shared yesterday. How many people have gone through this doc? I mean, how many of you read this doc, the official document? How many of you got the over underlying the way how exactly the solidity works? I'm not talking about the code part. I'll help you out. I'll explain you everything. I'm talking about the document part. Please raise your hands, guys. How many of you done with this part, the documentation? More. Be quick. Be fast. Cool. Have any doubts anywhere? Cool. I think I need some response, guys, from everyone. Is it have all of you read the official doc, right? Guys, just a few seconds. There was a slow internet connection. That's the reason there is a lag in my screen. I'm just reconnecting myself. Kalyan, I'll explain you about the program. I'm only talking about only the theoretical part. Cool. So, guys, now everyone quickly open the from the docs. I mean, from the Google Drive link. Have there is a file called Greater. Open that solidity file in the remix ID yesterday, which we have discussed. After opening that file and paste it in the smart contract field, please raise your hands. I'll just move forward. Okay. Do that fast, guys. Cool. I need some responses from everyone. Have to be fast. From now on, you are no more students. You are a blockchain developers, guys. Okay. You are into the blockchain field now. Always be think in a perspective of a developer now. From now on. Okay. Is that clear to everyone? Good. Need to be do the homework a lot to keep that to be a good developer also. Try your best, then you'll just be your best developer. Yeah. So I hope everyone have copied that greeter.soul, and we are in the remix IDE now. Now see what is the structure of the smart contract, and how will what are the functions, and what are the address, what is the payable, and everything. Okay, I'll just explain you each and everything, how we'll make the contract is into the uh, make the contract is have a communication with the front end, or else how the user can how the user can contribute some data, or communicate or pass the data to the smart contract. How? So first and the foremost thing, first we need to declare the structure. As I've told yesterday, we have a pragma solidity, just a version 0.5.2. We have declared a solidity version. Always remember, always your structure has to be in this way. Okay, first the first line always has to be the solidity version. The second or third line always has to be the contract name, where we declare all the contract. From there our contract starts. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Always try to stick with the rules. I mean, these are the basic rules. Don't forget this. Okay, don't be in a hurry to. Cool, but that's not the name. Yeah, thanks for yeah, I'll just do a quick check. So thanks guys, thanks Vivekananda, but uh yeah, thanks, but always make an habituate of writing your contract. I mean, the contract name and the file name are same even in the Solidity Remix ID, because I mean the Solidity Remix ID uh, doesn't care about the file names as of now, because when we are developing that app, it may come handy. So that's the reason I told that, but it's better if we habituate from now on. Cool. So I have told this is the structure. Now after after giving a contract name, we need to now determine the fields where, like, we have a greeter function here. I'll just tell you what this contract will do. Then you will understand what is the logic and what are the attributes has to be, what are the strings, and what are the unsigned attributes has to be declared first in the structure. Okay, is that cool to everyone? So now can you see, this is a contract where you can give the any input as you like and execute the program. It's a dynamically taking the inputs and shows the output. Cool. Can everyone see, right? Calling a function, calling a data from the contract is very easy. We can do any times. But posting a data to the contract is always a transaction cost. We have always need to pay a transaction for that. Each and every data. Always remember, we will store only the data which we want on the blockchain, which is very important. Okay. And one more thing, you always developer has to be in a perspective where the code has to be efficient and the transaction and the contract cost has to be low. Okay, always be always write in a way that the code has to be more efficient and the transaction cost has to be low. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Yes, but yeah, I mean, in the perspective of the solidity only, we need to write in that. I mean, I mean, the efficiency has to be have it in every language we write. But when coming to the contract, a smart contract in a solidity language, because we are paying for the every attribute, every syntax of gas. So that's the reason we have to be more specific in why are we using those syntax. Does the syntax has will solve the exact problem? Does it have the exact solution? Does it solve the all the features we have? Does it uh, does it help us in a long run? Does it help us the contract to be more efficiently working even at the low circumstances? Okay, always we need to take a lot of consideration in hand and need to develop a smart contract. Is that clear to everyone, guys? Raise your hand, guys. Cool. So in this contract, we have a constructor function name. We can give the any data as an input. We can get the data as an output. Okay, but we are storing this data. We are getting this data. Okay, we can give any data anytime, but we have to do a transaction for that. But one more thing is there, like a kill. What does that happen if we do a kill? Okay, see, when I'm doing a kill, you can see it here in a transaction. We are doing a transaction even to kill. Okay, so I just want to see the greet. Error failed to decode output, cannot read property length of an undefined. Kill is nothing but a function where we are killing our own contract from the uh, network. Okay, this is a way it comes if you are done with the, if you have some issues, errors, I mean, you are giving the uh, whole soul permissions to kill the contract. We can even kill a contract from the code, but we have to mention that in a code. Okay, is that clear to everyone? This is a, now you will have a doubt. See, I'm just trying to post the data after killing the contract. See, I'm trying some random data. We have got the transaction succeed, but we can't get the data from the data fields. Okay, because the contract is killed, we don't have the data to be get now. Is that clear to everyone? Raise your hand. You can try uh, in your own desktop or laptops, but Can you guys tell me how we need to make sure to run the contract again to get the to get the data again? Can you tell me anyone? Fast. How? Fast guys, I need an answer. How we need to how we can? Cool. Why we need to deploy it again? Give a to the point answer. Why we need to deploy again? Just elaborate your answer, Anudeep. Fast. Guys, I need an answer. Cool. More. More. No. Yeah. That's cool, Abdullah Aziz. But I need the data. How can I get the data now? How do I need to deploy the contract again, or else do I need to change anything in this previous contract? Yes. See, once we kill the contract, there is no chance of going back to that contract again. No chance of getting the data from that contract again. Okay. We are doing this kill function of our own to our contract. So once the contract is dead, once the contract is killed, it will present on the blockchain, but we can't get data from that. So what we need to do, we need to delete this contract for now and deploy the contract again. Is that clear? Good, Anidip. Good, Abdul. Great, Navya. Everyone. Always try to share your knowledge, guys. Be active in sharing your knowledge, okay? So now I have deployed the contract. This is the address I have deployed the contract, but I just I'll just pass the data with the another account. Does it? I'll just check is it works or not. Everyone, please check with another account. Deploy with one account and do a transaction with another account. Cool. We have got the data. I mean, we are the transaction is getting succeed. We are getting the data also. Is everyone can see that in their own laptops? I mean, in their own code. Deploy a contract with one address and do a change the account address and do pass the data and get see the output of the passed data. The steps I have did here. Fast guys, have you did that? Have you got that transaction succeed message? Guys, I'm not getting any response from anyone. Or raise your hands, guys. You can get from the drive link which I have shared yesterday. Tejasai. Now, cool. So, but now try to delete the contract from the address with another address which you have deployed. Are we can delete the contract? I mean the kill the contract. Do your own, guys. Are you getting the same response? Are everyone doing their testing the contract on their IDEs? Raise your hand, guys. Raise your hands if you're done with testing the contract. Just do those. I mean, just do those steps. Is it working or not? Just tell me the output. Are anyone trying? Guys, I need some response. Cool. So now we'll just move. I think most of you got aware of uh, the functionality of the smart contract, right? How the smart contract is working. Is everyone aware of the functionality of the smart contract, right? Cool. Now I'll just explain you how we can do those, how we are doing those functionalities through the code. Okay, how we are telling the contract that when we enter the data, always return this data and only return only this data. how we are telling the contract that when we click on this button, I mean when we run this function and kill the contract, how to self-destruct the contract. We'll just see that now. Guys, be attentive now. There are some key syntaxes where which comes very handy to us now. Okay. The first and the foremost, after the constructor, I mean after uh, sorry, after the creating the contract, create the variables here. Okay, create the variables where string is nothing but string is where it's where we enter the data. Like we are creating a string variable with greetings where we can pass the data, and later in there is a predefined value, predefined syntax called address where we can pass the address. Okay, we are passing the address to the creator. Okay, now the person, I mean the variable with creator is capable of handling a address, and the payable is means that the creator, the address which is in the creator is capable of doing a transaction. Is that clear to guys? Always remember the variable, the address which we want to be the address to a variable which we want to store have to be a specific syntax called use a specific syntax called address, and always use payable syntax so that we are telling the contract that the address which is present in this variable is ready to do a transaction. It is capable of doing a transaction. Okay, is that clear guys to everyone? What is the use of payable and address? Raise your hands guys quickly. Cool. Now yeah, I'll explain you. Yes, see yeah, there are individual Abdul Dharani, I'm just explaining you. See, some addresses we can restrict some addresses to be a to do a transaction. Okay, we can restrict some addresses to do a transaction. Now can you see, after removing the payable, we'll get a definitely get a error message, because to to do a kill uh, to kill the contract, we need a the address which we deployed has to do a transaction with that address. Okay, so to do the transaction, but what we have mentioned, the creator address is not payable. I mean it don't have rights to do a transaction. See, that's the reason we got an error now. Can you see it here guys? You can even see here that we can't even deploy a contract, because we are not giving any rights to creator address that it can do a transaction. Now you can see that. Is that clear guys? Now Dharani, first and foremost, we are dealing with the addresses in the blockchain. Like every account has some address, so the contract which is deployed with the specific address is can be called it here. Okay, so address means it's a predefined syntax where we can store our address, hexadecimal address, in this variable. So what does payable syntax means? That it is nothing but it tells the smart contract that this account is capable of doing a transaction. Okay, if we remove the payable, then we are restricting the use of the account, so it can't able to do a transaction, or it can't able to do any changes to the contract. Is that clear everyone? Cool. Don't worry guys, As we move on, you'll understand easily as if it's a first class to you. You may just feel it's a very difficult to get the things. So that's the reason I told you, gave you the whole day yesterday to have understand the whole document, understand the and read the documentation, because writing a code is not a big thing, but knowing the things which we can do with the code solidity is very big thing. Okay, first we need to know what things we can do. That's the reason we didn't directly jump into the code. We have moved to the documentation, then to the code. Is that clear to guys? Raise your hand, guys. Yes, deleting the contract. We are not updating the contract. The updating the contract is uh, we are just pass the data to the contract and we get the data. See, I'll just show you how. Thanks for that, Abdul. See, I have deployed the contract. Now I'll just pass some random data here. Contract greet. Now the most of the people, so uh, to the most of the people we have done a, I'll just tell you a quick example what is updating and what is deleting now. See, we have did a transaction, we have stored some data on the contract, we are getting that data. Now I just want to update the contract, I just want to update the data which we are getting in the greet function. This is a call function. In this greet call function, I just want to update this data now. So now my contract is capable of taking the new data, and my contract is capable of updating the new data. My contract is capable of calling the updated new data. My contract is capable of updating the showing the new data to the users when we call the greet. Is that clear, guys? We'll just pass the new data here, like the new update construct. I mean call the function, I mean post the function. See, cool, new update. See, our contract is now capable of updating the things, I mean updating the data. This is how we update the data on the contract. Okay, now this is what is killing the contract. So there are no use of any functionalities using this. By killing this contract we are done. I mean there is no use of that contract. So that as of now we'll just move to the deploy another contract and run the contract. Is that everyone got the difference between update and delete? Cool, cool. So now, but we are here, I mean we have done with the other guys. I'll just take lot of time explaining each and everything like a contract in this, because when you got to know everything you can do anything on your own. Okay, everything on your own. So I'll just take some time in explaining each and everything in detail of this contract. Later you have lot of contracts, you can get the clear overview when you have the knowledge why we got those and why we are using those. Is that clear to everyone? Please ask me if you have any doubts anywhere. I'm open to help you all. Cool. Now, guys, so how we are telling the contract that uh, we are creating a variable like a creator, and we are telling the contract that it's an address. We are telling the contract that it can do a transaction. But how we can do a contract, we can do a transaction externally, how we can communicate with the contract, but how we are getting the data when we are passing the data, how we can pass the data, how we can get the data, When we are passing the data, how can we do a transaction? How we need to tell to the contract? Here comes the handy the uh, functions. Functions help us in doing the things which helps us in talk with the contract. Okay. See, there is a small 5-letter word called public. Can you just delete those uh, public and write a private here and deploy the contract? Just delete that public keyword and deploy the contract. Have you seen the changes? There is no constructor for us now. Is that clear, guys? See, we restrict the contract. See, the developer, as we move on in depth with the Solidity code, the developer have a right in this Solidity smart contract. We can have so much rights. We can develop great things with the Solidity code. Okay, we will restrict what the user have to see, what the user has to interface with, what the user data has to be entered. The developer will restrict each and everything. Okay, he have whole and sole rights. It's not deleted, it's private. See, private, I'll just tell you, but using a keyword like a private is nothing but we are making it an internal process. Okay, we are not showing to the public, it's an internal process. We are calling that internally. The key, the functions which are only with public are visible to the which the functions which are visible to the other people. I mean, those are emitted by the contract for the outsiders. Okay, the private is an internal function for the contract. Public help us in emitting those functions to the outside so that they help us in doing our transactions or doing their functionalities. Is that clear, guys? How the public and private help us in uh, making the things easy for us? Cool. As we move on, you can see much more functionalities like that. Okay, see, we can do one more thing, like we have some these greetings. So I'll just tell you, we keeping this function as a public. Now how to determine the function, how to start a function? Just give the syntax as function. Okay, name, any name, and the input. Like if you want to give a unsigned integer or a string memory, try to give those string memory. Why we are calling a string with a memory? Because the string memory will store the data internally. Okay, because we are calling that in the latest version, the Solidity have mentioned this update where for the strings we always need to use a keyword syntax memory to store the data internally so that we can call it anywhere. Okay, is that clear, guys? So string memory, and I'll just use calling anything that's not a big issue. We need to use the underscore here. I'm using the calling. I'll just use the private. Now what I'll do, I'll just pass the data to the global variable which I have created here from a state variable which I have created here, calling. Can you tell me, anyone, what this function will do? Fast. We have created a state variable, we have given a syntax private, we have created a function with name, we are giving the string calling data to the assigning calling data to the greetings global variable. Now tell me, what does this function do? Fast. It is same as the function on the top, but cool. Next. But how we are assigning? Cool. Next. Cool. Munirohit. That's great. Because yeah, it's private. We can't assign values, but it's internally. We can call some data internally, and we can assign the data to the greet variable, global variable. Okay. Cool. That's great. Calling variable declares yeah, you see, we are directly calling the global variable which we have created at the topmost. Before the functions are all the global variables, but we can't able to update those internally. We are not updating those internally now we'll update them publicly. Okay. See, we got the name. Cool. Is that clear to everyone? We have created another function, but it can only store one value because we are just changing those global variable values. I mean, we are passing the data to the single global variable. That's the reason we are having the values keeps changing. Is that clear to everyone? Cool, guys. Now, okay, we are done. So we have created another function. Okay, just leave that function for now. So we have there is a function with name constructor, and we have a greeting state variable. We have a public. What does the message dot sender mean? Can anyone tell me what does this message dot sender means that we are passing data to the creator? As you all know, what is the creator variable functionality is. I mean, the creator variable do, as we already declared that. Can anyone tell me what does that message dot sender means? Fast. Cool, Sanjan Kumar. Cool. Venkata Reddy. Yes, that's part of metadata, but uh, pass while deploying. But we are passing the specific data to that creator. Okay. The who performs the transaction? Yes. Not who performs the transaction. The person who deploys the transaction. Okay. Anyone can perform the transaction, but deploying the contract is a person. We have a single person. Cool. Great. Cool, Venkat. Great, guys. Now, see, message.sender is also a inbuilt params we'll get from the inbuilt from the solidity, where if you use that message.sender, the person who deploy the contract will automatically uh, get assigned to another global variable which we want to assign for. It's help us in getting the address of the person who have deployed the contract. Is that clear, guys? That's come handy in the long run, that if you want to restrict the data, I mean, you can see this in one of your dApp, how the message dot sender help us in restricting the data and helps us in saving the data to be uh, what we call counterfeited. I mean, some data can be saved with using this message dot sender, as we are restricting and giving the whole access to only the person who have created deployed this contract. So we can make sure that the person who have access to that contract can't able to change the data or can't able to make some changes, because all the changes are with the person who have deployed the contract. Like, we have a admin for some groups. I mean, in a general conventional scenario, like the admin have all the groups. In the same way, the message dot sender, with the use of this message dot sender param, we can easily uh, restrict the data to all the users who are using a contract. Is that clear, guys, to everyone? Cool. Next, what we are doing. So the function has a state variable. The input we are typing is first stored on the state variable. Then we are passing the data to the global variable. From global variable, we are calling the data at the grid. Okay. This is how the flow works. First, the state variable will pass the data to the global variable. From the global variable, we can retrieve the data at anywhere, like in any function. Okay. That's the reason state variables are fixed to the that functions. Global variables can be called anywhere in the contract. Is that clear, guys? That's the difference between state variable and global variable. So next, how we are calling the data. Okay, we are done with the uh, as everyone understood the functionality of the constructor, like we are passing, how we are passing the data. Please raise your hands. Guys, try to be more uh, uh, try to give your response fast, guys, so that we can move forward and we can learn some more things. I mean, I can put some more time for this. Okay, I need your response. I mean, this will be a little what we call in exactly, it may makes you a little, there will be a lot of doubts. I mean, you can't able to understand clearly at a first run, but don't worry, you will understand it clearly. Just give a just let me know. So next, what we'll do, so I think most of the people are aware how the how we can pass the data to the contract. Okay, now we'll see how exactly we can get the data from the contract. Is everyone is, can you guys please I'll just show you how we can get the data. Okay, yeah, uh, last testimony, yeah, nice question, Rohit. But we can't uh, we can't see the see, if we have the same variable name like a greetings, there will be a conflict. I mean, there will be no passage of the data. We are passing to the same state variable, like the data stuck here only. Okay, see, we have a greeting. The state, the function will to at which section, to which variable the function will first go. It first goes to the state variable, then only it moves out from the function and goes to the global variable, right? So now when we have a greetings with the same state variable and the global variable, then the function will be in this function, the variable data will be in this function only, because we have a same state variable and the same global variable. That's the reason we give a difference between the state variable as a global and the global variable. Is that clear, Rohit? The same thing have showed you, right? Cool. See, only the name, the contract is need the variable name. It totally depends upon the variable name. It only catch the data, and it understands the language where with the variable name only, right? So always try to give the different variable names for the state variable as a global variable to make sure you don't have conflict between them. Is that clear, guys? Rohit, is that clear? Cool, cool. So now I think most of you people have done with this. How we'll pass the data to the function? I mean, how most of the people got how we'll pass the data uh, to the contract from a external source. Is that clear, guys? Everyone, please raise your hands. Cool. Now, how we are getting the data? See, raising the, I mean, sorry, passing the data is easy. I mean, we are done with the passing, but we need to get the data. So how we need to get that data? So create another function like greet, and we are not passing any state variable here because we only need to get the data, and we need to clearly tell the contract that we are only, this function will only do or get functionality. This will function will not do any set functionality, like will not do any, will not pass any data to the contract, but we only get the data from the contract. That's the reason we will not have any chance for the data we are getting from the contract. Okay, so how we are telling the contract that this function is only as a get functionality? Can you tell me fast? I think it's a clear way. Guys, you have the code first. Tell me how we are telling the contract that this is a get functionality. How fast? I need an answer. Cool, cool. But we have a view parameter. Rohit, great observation. See, we can return the value, but we are telling, we are restricting the contract only to view. Okay, there is no chance of doing a transaction. All we can do is view this functionality. Okay, there is a view. It's a predefined we'll get from the solidity, where by using the view we are telling the contract we are getting this data, we are using this function to view the data, like we are calling this data to view only the data which we want. Is that clear, guys? Great observation, everyone. Yes, cool. That's the reason. That's what we want, right? The view will restrict the no modification to the state, no modification to anywhere of the contract by using this functionality. So if there is no modification, we are telling that we are not modifying anything, we are just viewing the data we want. That's how the view works. Now, returns. We are returning the string memory and returning as the from the global variable. See, this is how the global variable works, guys. We can call it anywhere in any function. We can call only state function in the functional loop only, but we can call the global variable anywhere. So this is how we will uh, call the data from the uh, global variable. I mean, in other ways, we'll call the data from the stored smart contract. Is that clear, guys? How we are calling the data? Always try to use the view when you want to restrict the. I mean, you want to call the data. Is that clear, guys? So, do you have any doubts anywhere? It's a great. You can give any name to your function. That's not a problem. Uh, Likita, great question, Likita. What will happen? What happens if return type is string, not string memory? I mean, sorry, but the string is and the string memory are both are same. I just be more elaborate your question. Ah, uh, Rohit, global variables are declared outside the function only because they are called by anywhere in the contract. That's the reason we call them as global variables, like adding a global keyword before declare. Yes, you can try, guys. Just remove the view, deploy the contract. Now see the output. Are you getting the output or not? You have your contract in your hand. You have the ID. You know the functionalities. Just do the changes you want. Just what are the changes you want to do? Do those. Okay. Now tell me. Yes, you can only use to tell the contract for the return. Muni, have you got your answer? Nandanan, have you got your answer? Just a second. What will happen if you? Yeah. Uh, Likita, it's a predefined variable. I mean, it's a predefined syntax we use to store the. It's it's a predefined to store the string, the data which we have in the string. We are telling the contract we need to store the. I mean, in the previous version, like in the 4.0 in 4.0, you can use those 4.0 versions. Again, you can directly use the string there. There is no problem in using the string there, but in the updated versions, like in updated versions, we have an update where need to use the string memory to show that we are telling the contract that we need to store the data which we want, which is present in the variable, string memory variable. Is that clear? And coming to your question, uh, the the student who asked me about, just a second, difference between view and pull. Navin, great question, Navin. I think you have read the document, I think so, right? That's a great question. Now, the difference between view and pour is pure. We can read the data if we use view, but we can't read the data. We can't update the data if we use pure. Okay, that's the difference between those two. Have you understood? See, this is how we, in other words, we play with our contract by using the view pure, like the state address payable, the global variables, state variables. See, we can do anything we want. I mean, we can solve any problem. I mean, most of the problems can be solved. This is how the commands become very handy if you know the commands first. Okay. Now, okay. If like we have code, like most of the we have a code methods like CURD methods, create, update, read, and delete. How many of you know about that CURD? More? How many of you know create, update, read, and delete? Cool. We always have to keep in mind when we are writing a code, we have to use this function. We have to make sure that we can do all these functions from within our contract. We need to create a like a create some data. We can read the created data. We can update the created data where we are storing, and we can delete the data from where delete the data which we have stored. So try to make sure that any contract you write, any contract, any problem, any problem you are writing a contract, you need to try to have these four functionalities at the first in your contract. Is that clear to everyone? It's a simple, we call CURD, CURD. It's nothing but create, update, read, and delete. Is that clear, guys? And now we'll move on how we are how we can delete our contract. This is a standard killing function, like it's a predefined. We can, there is nothing we are writing our own. It's a predefined, everything is predefined. Okay, the per, the creator has to be the person who have uh, deployed the contract, and we are telling that if message dot sender equal to creator, then self destruct the creator. I mean, we are telling the contract that we are giving the rights from this function that the person who have deployed the contract have rights to destroy the contract. Is that clear, guys? Cool. This is the functionality of one of the contract where you are declaring the contract. Okay, you are creating a data, you are reading the data, you are updating the data, at last you are deleting the contract only. It's a basic. Have everyone done with this contract, right? Have understood this contract, how the functionality works? Should I explain, give it a one more flow, give it a one more run, the whole contract, or else should we move to a new contract? Cool. I'll just give it a quick recap. So what the first and the foremost thing, the first line is always for the Solidity version. The second line is always to declare the contract name. Always remember the contract name and the contract file name has to be same. And the next, at the topmost, we'll just uh, declare the global variables. Like we have created a global variable like string greetings. It's a greeting. It's a string where we can store the string data. If you want to give the numbers, we can use the unsigned. Like it's UINT. It's unsigned. Unsigned. We can give anything, and we can store the data here anyway. Okay, this is how we give unsigned. We declare the unsigned. So now next we created a creator variable in the global state where we are assigning the creator that it is an address and it is payable. Means the payable nothing but it tells the contract that the creator, the address which is present in the creator variable is capable of doing a transaction. So this address which is stored in the creator variable can do a capable of doing a transaction like executing some functions. Now, as we move on from the global variable, after declaring the global variables, we'll move on to the functions. We'll create a function with a name, and if the function with a state variables, if where we'll get the input from the state variables, and we'll assign that input to the global variables. Okay, the keyword public is nothing but we are telling the contract that emit this function to the from the outside to the outside world from the contract. So what the Solidity will do, this as we are using the public, it will emit this function to the outside world. Okay, outside the smart contract. Next, what we are doing here, we are declaring in this contract we are declaring the message dot sender is nothing but the person who have created the contract and they deployed the contract, and or the person who have did the transaction. And remember guys, the message dot sender here, the person who did the transaction here, it is considered as the person who did the transaction as well as the person with account which we have deployed is transferred to the creator here. Okay, next, it stores the data like from the state variable we are assigning the data to the global variable. Now done, we have created a function where we can pass the data to the contract and we can store there. Now we need to call that data. How? We have another function where we can call the data. We need to use the pure view. View is nothing but it's a predefined syntax where it restricts the modification of the function, or it restricts the function only to view the data. It's only give access to view the data. There is no update we can do with this functionality. So what we are doing, we are returning the data from the global variable. Directly we are calling the global variable here. Next, like a global I forgot to tell you about the get block number. Block number is also predefined. It directly gives the block dot number, means it's also predefined. It gives the at which block we have we have a transaction here. It doesn't have anything to do with the act of greeting, just demonstrating the return of some global variable. Okay. This belongs to the top, not here. So next, function kill public. Here we are killing the contract. Like we already have a self destruct which is also predefined, where will where the contract will understand that the person who have created the contract will have whole and sole rights to destruct the contract. So when we kill the function, the contract is automatically deleted. So with this, we have done with one of our contract. Is that clear, guys? Have anyone have doubts more, or shall we move to another contract? Cool.
Guys, is my voice is audible, right? Cool, cool. So now what we are doing, before moving to the another contract, can you guys please follow the steps which I'm following now? Search for the MetaMask Chrome extension in the Google Chrome. You will redirect it to the plugin. Just install that plugin. You can get it here. Okay. And you'll get the 13 or 12 or 13 word mnemonic. Just save that mnemonic and just create that account. Don't do anything. I'll just let you know what you have to do. Okay, just create the MetaMask account. I'm telling you again, guys, just create the MetaMask account. Just save the file. I mean, save the mnemonic you get. Don't forget the password. Always remember the password. If you forget the password, there is no way we can retrieve the account. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Go to the Google Chrome, you search for the MetaMask, you'll get the MetaMask plugin extension, add a MetaMask plugin extension there, create an account in MetaMask, you'll get a 12 or 13 words mnemonic, save that mnemonic safely. You will require everywhere you use the MetaMask, even for the dApp, which we are creating, we need that mnemonic. Is that clear, guys, to everyone? It's very guys, is it audible now? Can everyone hear me now? Cool, cool. Sorry, sorry. So now, where we have stopped at MetaMask, right? Guys, please go to the Google Chrome, type for the MetaMask plugin. You'll get a Google Chrome extension, MetaMask extension. Just create an account. Don't do anything, guys. Just create an account. In that, you'll get a 12 or 13 word mnemonic. Just keep safely that mnemonic. Okay. And always remember your password, what password we are giving to the MetaMask. And I'm telling you again, guys, keep that mnemonic very safely, because we'll use the same mnemonic in the in your DApp development. Okay, is that clear, guys? Cool. So now, guys, what you all have to do today is, we have a, a set of contracts in the drive and the contracts in the uh, Solidity doc. Now you got some functionality, the basic code functionalities, what you can do with the contract. Now you need to explore, you need to invest some more time in learning other functionalities, what we can do with the contract now. Okay, just put your hands on, copy the code. Before copying the code, just know the how, what the functionalities are done with the code, how the flow works. Okay, first learn how we need to first learn how the flow works in the code. Okay, don't directly write the code. Is that clear, guys? Now from today, you have a you have to uh, execute the codes which are present in the drive and some other codes, and give a just a small feedback on every code, what the functionality, what it is done in a pd in a word doc, and send it in the into my private in a like, I'll just figure out how you need to send the data. Okay, I need how you are understanding the flow from the each contract. That's how we can understand how efficiently we can move forward in creating the contract, and how the level of the contracts has to be. Is that clear, guys, to everyone? One more time I'll repeat again, guys. We have a today we have did a contract with a code functionality, with all the functionalities we can do. There are other functionalities, much more functionalities, which you have to invest more time and learn those functionalities on your own, as we have already have the contracts in our drive, Google Drive link, and we have a contracts uh, in the Solidity official doc, and some contracts you can get on the Google or in the from another YouTube channels. Okay, just take some take some examples of what you understand from the contract. Give a just a small paragraph of what you understand, what is the flow of the contract. Just take the example of two Solidity smart contracts, and give a explanation how the flow works. What did you understand from this Solidity uh, smart contracts, and what the new thing you have learned. Always remember, guys, apart from this four functionality, there has to be something new in the new contract which you are learning. Okay, is that clear, guys? I'll just tell you, don't worry about the sharing the data. I'll just figure out. Yes, two contracts. There has to be a new functionality. You have to learn some new functionality. If it's safe, I'll not consider it as you have learned a new thing today. There has to be a new functionality. You have to explore some new functions, and the new way of writing the code, and the new data's parameter syntax in the Solidity code. Okay, this is how you learn some new things, explore new things. Okay, I'll just tell you, guys, don't worry about how to submit your data. I'll just figure out that. I'll just I'll just keep that posted in the group. Okay, is it clear to everyone? Cool. Just guys, show the same enthusiasm you are shown today in every contract you are writing, you are developing, and you are learning. Is that clear, guys? Have a happy coding. Learn some new things today with two contracts. You have to definitely mention about two contracts. You can learn any contract, but you have to definitely mention the what did you learn new things in that contract, what is the flow of that contract, what does that contract actually do. Is that clear, guys? I'll just post everything in the group. Don't worry about that, and have a happy coding. Have a nice day, guys. We'll just end up this class today. We'll have a much more with much more enthusiasm in the next class. Bye bye.